Welcome back. So, this expansion's almost over. If you're anything like me, you're actually pretty excited for the War Within, and that means it's time to mop up unfinished business. And for me, that means picking up many different tier sets, because we got a hell of a lot of them this expansion, and versus the past, there's actually a lot you can do on every character regardless of raid group availability. Each season's a little different, but here's the fundamentals. The Revival Catalyst can be used to convert a piece of gear into a piece of tier gear, and in some cases that bit of tier gear can then just be upgraded using upgrade currency, and that will unlock even more tints for you. Then, Season 1 and Season 2 gear doesn't consume a catalyst charge whenever you turn it into tier, meaning you can just blast through all of that, and if you want to get those Season 3 mogs, well, good news. Catalyst charges now accrue weekly instead of every 2 weeks, making Season 3 that much quicker. There's a lot to earn here, just like what I'm going to be putting towards payroll from today's sponsor, Squarespace.com/Bellular Gaming. Last time I talked about how Biosites, Fluid Engine, and Blueprint are features that just make actually building your online presence easier than ever. But that's not the end, because they also help you run your business. Now, they've got fantastic email newsletter tools, and they can handle your digital and physical e-commerce. So as an example, let's say you're doing some merch, some physical products. Well, if you're doing merch, you could maybe set up with their partner Printful, build your designs, bring them over into Squarespace, and then you're done. If you're a bit bigger, well, Squarespace can actually integrate with whatever fulfillment company you use. So when you get an order in Squarespace, it will automatically be fulfilled, saving you loads of time. Squarespace memberships let you do free and paid members. They have a new course tool that lets you turn your knowledge into income, and the user experience for all of this is just awesome. I mean, hell, they do appointments and invoicing to help you run your business. So if you're physical, digital, maybe you're an agency, maybe you're a hairdresser even in your local town, whatever it is, they've got the tools to help you stay on top of your business. For 2024, they're even working on Squarespace payments, and I always like to see whenever a company is shipping lots of updates. That's what they've done through 2023, and they're continuing to do. So you can build your website for free today, and when you're ready, you can send it live with code Bellular Gaming for 10% off. Okay, Season 1's pretty different to Season 2 and 3 because the game's big gear upgrade system didn't quite exist. A progenitor to it did, though, in the form of Primalist gear and its associated upgrades. There is bad news, though. The LFR and Mythic appearances are only available by doing the raid. There's no workaround here, you just have to do Vault of the Incarnates. But Normal and Heroic are far easier to earn. I'll start with an overview, then we'll talk strategy. This is all based on Primalist gear, and that comes in 3 variants: eye level 359, 385, and 395, along with their corresponding currencies. Elemental Overflow purchases the 359 gear, Storm Sigils upgrades that gear to item level 385, and Untapped Forbidden Knowledge upgrades that gear to 395. Now what we want to do is we want to get a full set of eye level 385 gear. Then we're going to use the Revival Catalyst to turn that into Season 1 tier gear. Then we're going to use Untapped Forbidden Knowledge to upgrade that tier gear to eye level 395, which will then unlock the Season 1 Heroic Mode appearance. Now, there are plenty of ways to get the currencies we're interested in, but by far the easiest is the Forbidden Reach. It was intended to be a bit of a gear catch-up thing, so it's all pretty quick. Now, the Reach drops absurd amounts of Elemental Overflow. That means we don't have to worry about it, and we can focus on the other 3 things: Storm Sigils, Untapped Forbidden Knowledge, and something I haven't mentioned yet, Primalist gear tokens. These gear tokens are bind on account. You can send them to your characters, and when you use them, they'll create item level 385 gear. Now that is actually pretty amazing, because that means we don't have to obtain the 359 gear and then upgrade it to 385 with Storm Sigils. It just cuts that bit of it out. Okay, that's the overview. Let's get into the strategy and how we're going to do this. First up, log into any characters you played during 10.07 and check if they've got any unused Primalist tokens. Then log into the character that you want to earn the appearances for and head to the Forbidden Reach. Now here's the deal, there is plenty of 10.0 and 10.0.5 content that drops Storm Sigils, and Blizzard even added Untapped Forbidden Knowledge to the loot tables of that content. Which is great, but the Reach is still faster. It's truly where it's at. So go to the Forbidden Reach, and you'll see these rare elite mob markers on your map. Now, a while back, the way that these spawns worked, along with sharding, meant the zone felt pretty dead. Blizzard have since tweaked that stuff, and at least in my experience, I'm generally finding there's enough activity in that zone to just allow me to get into the flow, flying around the place with other players, knocking out those rares. Now, those rares drop Elemental Overflow, those bind on account Primalist gear tokens, Storm Sigils, and Untapped Knowledge. They're on daily loot lockout, so that basically means you want to kill each rare each day. Now, while you're doing that, be on the lookout for treasures and regular rares. They'll show up in your minimap, and they can also drop the resources that we want. Now, doing this will soon get you far more Elemental Overflow than is needed to purchase even a full eye level 359 set. Now, you can save it up for mounts and pets like Bucky or the Noble Bruffalon from these NPCs on the Reach, a few weapon mogs from this Quartermaster NPC on the Reach, or the Stormhide Salamanther from Mithrisa in Valdrakken. Or you can go gambling. Cataloger Dela sells sacks of oddities for 2,000 Overflow. Now, these sacks contain junk items, Overflow, Primalist gear tokens, which are very useful and bind on account, and a chance of untapped forbidden knowledge, even though the drop rate's pretty low. Overall, that is the best way to get these resources. If you want, you can go and do the 10.0 and 10.0.5 Primalist content. There's details for that in our written guide in the video description. But personally, I would just dip into and out of the Reach to knock out those rares over the course of a few days. It's just more straightforward that way. Okay. We're getting our resources, what are we doing with them? Number one, use your eye level 385 gear tokens, then go and purchase 359 gear from this vendor in Valdrakken to cover any slots that are not covered by the 385 tokens. Once you've got that gear, take it to the upgrade NPC and spend your Storm Sigils to turn that 359 gear into 385 gear. Now you'll have a full set of that 385 gear, so head to the Revival Catalyst and turn that into tier gear. Doing so will unlock the normal mode tint. Then, head back to the upgrade NPC and use your untapped Forbidden Knowledge to upgrade that gear to eye level 395. Doing that will get you the Heroic Mode tint. And that's as far as we can go for easy tier gear collection for Season 1. Okay, let's talk about Season 2. Well, I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is Mythic, Heroic, and Normal are only available from doing Aberrus, the raid. The good news, though, is the LFR tints often look great, and they're very quick to unlock, and also happen to be a pretty decent way of getting any new character a starting set of gear in Dragonflight, and loads of it's bind on account as well. Now, there are many ways to get the gear that could be put into the Revival Catalyst, but one stands out amongst all of them for being fast and account-wide, and that's Dream Surges. So each week, one of the core Dragonflight zones will have a Dream Surge. That's denoted by this marker in your map. So fly to that marker, and there you'll meet the NPCs that we need. To see what we're after, just talk to Celestine of the Harvest. You'll see that she sells bind on account item level 415 gear at the cost of Dream Surge Coalescence, and beside her, Hamul Rune Totem has a weekly quest to earn 100 Coalescence. Now that quest rewards a Dream Surge Cocoon, which can be handed in to Hamul for a piece of item level 428 gear. That, of course, will be able to catalyze into LFR Aberrus. Anyway, what we need is Coalescence, and getting it's pretty easy. First, you'll see a bunch of green orbs around the zone. Fly into them, and you'll pick up between 1 and 5 Coalescence. Beyond that, there's mining, special green flowers, world quests, and empowered rares. Those will be called out when they're active. They all drop this Coalescence currency, and then there's the Waking Dream event that's active every 30 minutes. But for real, I think the easiest thing to do is just fly about the zone. Seriously, like an hour of flying can get you so much of the way there, just getting all of that Coalescence. Once you've got that Coalescence, go back to Celestine and just buy the gear. Buy the gear, bring it to the Catalyst, catalyze it, and job done. You'll have yourself a set of Aberrus LFR gear that in many cases looks pretty dope. That being said, that 428 gear, you can actually upgrade that. Now, you could upgrade that to a maximum vital level 450, then you can catalyze it, and if you do that, you'll actually have one piece of usable Season 2 tier gear at level 450. If you then go and do the weekly Time Rift quest, you'll get another similar bit of gear, and that actually means that you can nearly immediately get any new alt a 450 2-set, which is a pretty handy thing when you're starting out. Okay, let's move on to Season 3. Okay, Season 3. This is where there's probably going to be the most work, but it is a place where you can really get a hell of a lot done. So let's get into it. The most efficient way to get the Season 3 tier gear appearances is this. First, obtain and catalyze an entire set of veteran track gear that is between rank 1 and 4. It's vital that you get it between rank 1 and 4 because that, when catalyzed, will unlock the LFR tint of the Emir Drasil tier set for your class. Now, to get that gear, you can do the 3 weeklies that spawn within the Dream. That's the Super Bloom quest, the Seed quest, and the Reputation Earning quest. So do that stuff. Then do LFR Emir Drasil, and beyond that, if you need more bits of gear, well, you'll just have to grind out Mythic Plus between +2 and +5. Okay, so now you'll have a whole bunch of veteran rank 1 through 4 gear. Catalyze that, and you'll have your LFR tints. Then, to unlock the normal mode tint, just upgrade the gear that you catalyzed to 5 out of 8 on the veteran track using some Drake crests, which you will have earned along the way. So yeah, that's a way that you can just get 1 set of gear, and via that, get 2 tier appearances. Pretty damn handy. Now from here, there's an efficient way and then a less efficient way. The ideal move, if you can do it, is to obtain a full set of gear on the hero track between ranks 1 and 4. If you catalyze that, you'll unlock the heroic tint. Then, if you upgrade that gear to rank 5 in the hero track, that will unlock the mythic tint. And that's a way that you can get the mythic tint without having to step into a mythic raid, because that final upgrade is using aspect crests, and those are most easily obtained from Mythic Plus 16 runs, which of course are fairly easy at this late stage in the season. Now, the challenge of course is getting that hero gear, because that drops from Mythic Plus 17 and from heroic raids. That is definitely harder to get, but short of being a mythic raider, that is your best bet if you want to get the mythic tint. Now, if that's out of reach, but you still want the heroic tint, then you'll have to do normal Emir Drasil and Mythic Plus between 9 and 16. That will earn you champion gear. To unlock the heroic tint, just catalyze and upgrade that gear to champion 5 out of 8. Now, the tricky bit is that upgrading that from rank 4 to rank 5 costs 15 worm crests. Those come from heroic raid or Mythic Plus 11 through 15. And look, even if Mythic Plus is something that's daunting to you, honestly, at this stage in the season, like 11s and 15s are really very easy indeed. But there's actually one more thing, and that is time walking, because time walking raids drop champion track gear that can be catalyzed, and the time walking raid weekly quest drops a piece of hero track gear, which does mean that you could very slowly, I suppose, if you happen to be lucky, get yourself the mythic appearance. But anyway, those are great. You earn some old mogs from the old raids, and then you can catalyze them into nice modern bits of loot too. So if you're a very world content focused player, or you're just not playing with a team right now, then earning Season 1 normal and heroic, Season 2 LFR, and Season 3 LFR plus Season 3 normal will be an absolute breeze. That is loads of gear to earn in your characters. Getting the Season 3 heroic tint is still going to be achievable for you with a little bit of a push at this later stage in the season. Along the way though, you'll be earning currencies and reputations that are pretty useful to get other cosmetics, and look, if you're looking for something fun to do as a guild, hopping in some alts and smashing your way through those past Dragonflight raids just to, you know, get some achievements, get some transmogs, that is quick, it's fun, it makes the likes of, say, Aberrus, Normal, and Heroic a total breeze if you want to get those pieces of tier. Then the time walking raids are totally worth it. We've had loads of fun doing them as a guild, and it's just a really good way, by the way, to gear up your guild's alts and just earn everyone some mog. So, you know, it's kind of funny. The removal of class sets in Battle for Azeroth and Shadowlands just kind of got us all out of the habit of going and collecting gear. But with tier gear now being back and being class-based, honestly, there is so much collection-based content to do. And with Warbands coming in War Within, I know I'm going to be playing way more alts. So, if I'm going to be leveling the alts up now, why not put those characters to work and get some cool cosmetics, see some cool content? That's what I'm going to be doing. I hope you found today's video to be useful. And yes, do expect more gameplay-oriented videos on this channel. I just feel like playing way more WoW these days. So, that's what's up. Hope you had fun. I'll see you next time.